Hi and hello, dear friends. Welcome back once again to our channel, Vage Academy of Mathematics. So, this session we are about to solve questions from the question paper 2016 July NTA UGC NET paper 1 under the concepts of arithmetic and reasoning. Let's quickly get into the questions. Our first question is from numbers and equations. Let's see the question what is there. So, this is our question number 1. So, the question says, two railway tickets from city A to B. So let's just note the points. Two railway tickets from city A to B and three tickets from city A to C. See here, we have three tickets from city A to C. Cost rupees 177. That is the total cost of two tickets from A to B and three tickets from A to C. That total cost is given to be rupees 177. Let's see the next statement. Next, we have three tickets from A to B, three tickets from A to B, and two tickets from A to C. This total cost is given to be 173. So actually, we are given two statements here, giving the cost actually. And the question what they're asking is the fare for city B from A will be how much rupees? This is our question, right? Yeah, fine. So this is actually a kind of equation building question. We'll have to build equation and that will help us to solve the question very easily. So let's try to do the same thing here. It's not going to be very complicated. Let's try to solve the question in an easy way possible, right? Okay, yes, fine. So there are two railway tickets from city A to B and three tickets from A to C. So actually here there are two tickets available here. One is from city A to B. This is one ticket, and the other one is city A to C. This is the other ticket. Okay, so let's try to represent city A to B. This ticket cost to be some X, and city A to C. This ticket cost to be Y. So let's have the measures to be like this. So this way we represent, it will be very easy for us to build the equation. Here we go. So now the question says two tickets from city A to B. That means 2 times of A to B. As per our assumption, it is going to be X. So 2X. And three tickets from A to C. So three tickets from A to C, in the sense three tickets from A to C. A to C we represented with Y. So 3Y. This total cost, that is this 2X plus 3Y. So that means the total cost will be nothing but 2X plus 3Y. Right? This is what is equal to given to be 177 rupees. So let us have it like this. And let's call this equation to be equation number 1. Let's come to the second statement. There it is given to be three tickets from A to B and two tickets from A to C. That is here the second statement with which we'll try to build the other equation. So here it says three tickets from A to B. That is 3 times of X plus, then we have two tickets from A to C, that is 2 times of Y. This total cost is given to be 173. So let's call this one to be equation number 2. Is that okay? Yeah, fine. Yeah, yes. So we have got two statements with which we turned them to be two equations. And we ended up with these two equations. Equation 1 which says 2x plus 3y is equal to 177, and equation 2 says 3x plus 2y is equal to 173. With which what we are supposed to find, that we will think. We are asked to find the fare for city B from A. That is, this A to B cost is how much? That is, we are asked to find the value of this X only. So we need to find the value of this X. How can we go for that? Let's just think about it, right? Okay. Yeah, fine. Let's do it carefully. We have many ways to solve these kind of equations. Actually, this kind of equation, this setup, we call it as simultaneous equations. So where we have two variables, two unknown variables, two unknowns, and two equations. So whenever we have like this, we call it as simultaneous equation. So we need to solve the equations and find the values of the unknown. This is how we go. And there are many ways to do this. For this example, let's try to employ a different kind of approach. Okay, so let's do a thing. What we can do is, first of all, let's just add the two equations, equation 1 plus equation 2. Let's try to add these two equations and see. Let's see what happens. Okay, so when we add, what happens is we will be having it like 2x plus 3y, then plus 3x plus 2y. Okay, this is how we'll be having, which will be equal to, now we have added the left hand side. Left hand side we have 2x plus 3y plus 3x plus 2y, because when we add, all these four terms will come together. That is what we have in the left hand side. And coming to the right hand side, we have 177 plus 173. This is what we have. I think it is clear to you so far. Yeah, proceed. Now what happens is we have 2x plus 3x. Let's add the like terms. Okay, so we have 2x plus 3x, which will give us 5x. Then plus we have 3y plus 2y, and that will give us 5y. Is it or not? Yeah, 5y, which will be equal to, now right hand side, when we add 177 plus 173, we will be getting 0. 7 plus 7 is 14. 14 plus 1 carry will be 5. So we'll be having one more, one carry. So 1 plus 1 plus 1 will give us 3. So we have 350. So finally we are getting 5x plus 5y is equal to 350. And let's proceed more to the next step. So see here, we have 5x plus 5y. That means we can have this 5, the number 5 as a common factor. So that we'll be having 5 times of x plus 5, which will be equal to 350. And finally, when we divide both sides by 5, I mean this final step, when we divide both sides by 5, left hand side we will be having x plus y is equal to 70, because left hand side when we divide it by 5, we will simply have x plus y, and right hand side we have 350. So 350, when it is divided by 5, we will have 70. Okay, so we have got x plus y is equal to 70. And we have got one more new equation. Let's call this equation to be equation number 3. And now let's do one more thing. We will just take some extra space to the right hand side. Yeah, fine. This would be fine. Yes. Now what we do is, coming back to the same two original equations, I mean equation 1 and 2. Now this time what we will do is, we will just subtract the two equations. Fine. Okay. Yeah. Now what we will do is, we will just do equation 1 minus equation 2 this time. Actually, if you remember, see here, the previous thing what we did is, we just added the two equations. See here, we have added equation 1 plus equation 2, and that gave us these steps, and finally we ended up with equation 3. And now this time, once again, we'll begin with the same two equations 1 and 2, and this time we will subtract the two equations, equation 1 minus equation 2. Let's try to do that. Let's see what happens. This time, since we are going to subtract, we should be very careful, because when we subtract, we should be careful with the signs. That's why, right? Yeah, fine. So 2x plus 3y. Now this time I've taken the terms what we have in the first equation, minus we have 3x plus 2y. Is it or not? Yeah, that we have to put inside the brackets. So that we'll be having, coming to the right hand side, we have 177 minus 173. Is it or not? Yeah, fine. Now let's carefully remove the brackets, so that we'll be having 2x plus 3y, and then we have this minus, which is common to all the terms which we have inside the bracket. So that means when we bring this minus inside, we'll be having minus 3x and then minus 2y. Is it or not? Because both the terms are positive inside, so minus into plus will be minus, and once again minus into plus will be minus. Both the terms will turn negative, which will be equal to, right hand side, it's very simple to say 177 minus 173, which will be simply 4, right? Yeah. Now once again we proceed. So here we see carefully, we have this 3y minus 2y. Is it or not? So this 3y minus 2y, let's just minus these two terms. So we get 3y minus 2y to be equal to simply 1y, or that is y, and take this 2x minus 3x. What will be this 2x minus 3x? That will be minus x, is it or not? Because plus 2 minus 3, which will be a negative 1, that is minus x, is what is equal to 4. And this, let's name it as equation number 4. So finally, we have got two more equations. Actually, if you remember, we started with equation 1 and equation 2. We added those two equations and we got equation 3, and we subtracted those two equations, we got equation 4. We have ended up with two more new equations. And yeah, now we will just do a very simple thing. I think we can use some more space because we need to go with furthermore calculation to get the answer. Finally, we are asked to find the value of x only, right? Because we need to find the fare from city A to B. That means we are asked to find the value of this x only, for which we'll use this equations 3 and 4, right? Okay, yeah, fine. Let's do some kind of magic, some kind of calculation, and we'll have to get the value of x alone. That is what is important for us. Let's think and see what can be done, right? Yeah, fine. So for which, let's do a simple thing. Let's do a subtraction, final subtraction step. One more subtraction step, like equation 3 minus equation 4. Let's see what happens. So when I do equation 3 minus equation 4, it will give me x plus y, because I have x plus y on my left hand side of equation 3, minus, here we go, equation 4 we have y minus x is what is equal to, coming to the right hand side we have 70 minus 4, is it or not? Yeah, fine. And what next we have? We have x plus y, carefully bringing this minus inside, we have minus y, and minus into this minus will this time give us plus x. So this is what is equal to 70 minus 4. So what is 70 minus 4? 70 minus 4 will be 66. And now what we can do is, we'll just continue the steps here. We'll go here. So here we can observe that plus y and minus y get cancelled, so that we have 2x is equal to 66. And now from which we can very easily get the value of x. So x will be equal to 66 divided by 2, because 2x is equal to 66. So when we divide both sides by 2, we will have x is equal to 66 by 2. What is 66 by 2, or what is half of 66? It's very simple to say 33. So that means the value of x is 33, and that is what is asked for us to find in the question. So our answer to this question is 33. Yeah, luckily we have our answer. We got the correct answer, exact answer. Option 4, 33 is matching with our answer, and that is going to be the correct answer. So we involve more steps here actually. Actually, to say, there are even quick methods to solve this, but this one would be more conventional for anyone to understand. That's the reason we are solving like this. There are more other methods also to be solved. We can even solve this by a process of elimination, just by multiplying the two equations. Those who are very much comfortable with math, with these areas, I mean solving equations, can very easily solve this. But we are just going through a method which can be understood by all. That's the reason. Fine, yeah? Yes. Move on to the next question. Question number 2, we have from directions. So once again, we are getting a question from directions. In our previous sessions itself, we have worked many questions from directions. Let's see this question, what we have here. A person walks 10 meters in front. Okay, fine. So let's take the help of the lines. Okay, so here we have the arrow marks. Yeah, let's try to draw the lines. A person walks 10 meters in front. Let's say a person is going to start from point. Let's have the point to be somewhere here. Okay, so he's going to walk 10 meters to the front. Let's have the front to be like this. Yeah, fine. So this distance is going to be 10 meters. Let's just note it. And then 10 meters to the right. So from that point, that person is going to move 10 meters to the right. So right hand side means the person should be moving like this. Yeah, 10 more meters to the right hand side. So this would be logically, this would give sense when we mark 10 here. So let's note 10 here also. Yes, fine. Let's continue the question. Then every time to his left, he walks 5 meter, 15 meter, 15 meter respectively. So that means he's going to turn to his left hand side continuously. I mean, like successively, he's going to turn to his left hand side and he's going to walk 5 meter, 15 meter, 15 meter respectively. So let's take those steps carefully one by one. Is it okay? Yeah, fine. So the person is here. Now, for the first time, he's going to take a left. So that means for this person, for a person who is going to be here at this position, left hand side will be like this. Is it or not? Yeah. So he's going to move towards this left hand side. And for how much meters? See here, he's going to move for 5 meters. Is it or not? This is what is given here. For the first time he's going to move, that will be 5 meters. Yeah, fine. So 5, this would be 5. And once again, what happens is he's going to move once again to his left hand side. So from here, left hand side means it will be turning to the left like this. Yeah, we'll have it even more clearly. We'll have the lines to be very clear. Yeah, fine. So from here, he's going to turn to his left. So left hand side will be like this. I'm sorry, it's actually getting broken. From this point, that person is going to move to his left hand side. Yeah, this time it's going to work. 15 meters, right? Yeah, 15 meters will be actually somewhere like this. I'm sorry. Yeah, the distance is actually troubling us. Yeah, fine. 15 meters. So 15 meters would be logical if we go somewhere like this. Yes, success. This time we got a success. 15 meters. Yes, fine. So once again, he's going to turn one more 15 meters by taking another left. For a person who is going to be here, his left would be towards the down, right? Yeah. This would be again one more 15 meters. Let's clearly just mark the lines. Yes, fine. This works fine. Yes, once again, success. We'll see that we'll try in a possible way that our lines are very straight, because that would only give more sense for our calculation. That's the reason, right? Okay, so one more 15 meters. I hope now you are able to clearly understand the question. So let's just begin from the starting. We'll just start. A person who is going to walk 10 meters to the front. Yeah, 10 meters front. Then he takes a right 10 meter. Then 3 times left. Okay, first time left 5 meter. Second time left 15 meter. Third time left 15 meter. This is all we have in the question. Now the question says, we need to find how far is the person now from his starting point. This is all we have in this question, right? Yeah. So the person is going to start from here and he is reaching this point. So how long he is far away? This is all we have in this question. So let's just logically think and get the answer. It's going to be very easy. When we just draw our diagram with a proper sense, that would itself help us to get the answer in a very easy way. Is it or not? Yeah. Now see here, this person is going to travel 10 meters, then again 10 meters right. Okay, 10 meters straight, 10 meters right. And he's going to take a 5 meters to the left. Okay, so that means this total distance has to be 15. Is it or not? This total distance has to be 15. And what next is he's going to turn 15 meter here, right? 15 meter to the left. So that means he has already covered 10 meters here and he is coming 15 meters here. So that means he is just 5 meters away here, right? So that means this distance is 5 meters away. And if you see the same 15 meters, he has returned down. See, the way he have gone up 15 meters, the same distance he have came down. So when we see horizontally like this, he is just at the same position, and the distance difference is just this 5 meter. The same 5 meter will be followed here also. That's it. So that means from his starting point to his ending point, the distance will be just 5 meters, right? Because it is because of the parallel lines parallel property. Parallel lines property, see here, this 5 plus this 10, okay, this 10 plus this 5 would actually just exactly compensate this 15, and so this excess 5 will be the only difference between these two lines. So that means he will be 5 meter away. This starting point, this destination point, he will be just 5 meters. Okay, so that means option 4, 5 meter, is going to be the correct answer for this question. Let's move on to the third question. Question number 3 is from blood relations. Let's see the question. So we have this question with many members, and only thing we have to remember whenever we do blood relation questions is we just have to be very sure with gender and generations. These two things are what really important for us to solve any blood relations question. Here we go. Yeah. So we have here A is the sister of B. So start from A. A is the sister of B. A is the sister of B. So it's very clear that A and B, they both are from the same generation. Okay. So A is the sister of B, and also it is very clear that A and B are sisters, and sorry, A is the sister of B. That is alone is given. That alone is what is given. A is the sister of B in the sense A must be a female, and as of now, there's no idea about B. Fine, yeah. And what next is given? Our second statement is F is the daughter of G. So we have two new people, and we have no idea about those two people. They are from which generation? So let's have them separately. F is the daughter of G. So let's go proceed. F is the daughter of G. That means G must be from the previous generation, and F is the next generation, right? Yeah. Let's have this separately. And we don't know about G, F, right? And we'll not be able to match these two people with A and B as of now because we have no relation stated in the question. That's the reason. Anyways, let's proceed. Our third statement says C is the mother of B. So we have completed A is the sister of B and F is the daughter of G. Both of them, both these two statements we have completed. And coming to the third one, we have C is the mother of B. Yeah, we already know where is B here. Yeah, B is already here. And additionally, it is given that C is the mother of B. So let's continue this chain now. C is the mother of B. Is it or not? Yeah, fine. So now statement 3 is clearly giving us C is the mother of B. That means C must be a female, and C is the mother of B. And in fact, A and B being siblings, definitely A's mother is also the same person, C. Is it or not? Because C is the mother of B, it is given. Since A is the sister of B, it is obvious that C must be the mother of A also. Is it or not? Yeah. Fine. Proceed. Next, we have D is the father of C. So here we have D is the father of C. So that means we have D to be the father of C, and it's very clear that D must be a male. So yes, fine. We'll just match it like this. And last, one more statement we have. It is given that E is the mother of D. The chain is getting extending. It's getting extended. E is the mother of D. So that means E must be from even before generation. Yeah, it's like this. So E is the mother of D means it's very clear that E must be a female. So we've got a very big chain here. And finally, the question is asking us to get A is related to D as what? This is our final question. So this says A is related to D as what? So that means we need to find the chain the relation chain between A and D, these two people. A is related to D as what? So that means for D, A is whom? This is our question. Very simple, right? So we start from D. D is none other than C's mother, and sorry, D is none other than C's father. It is what, that's what is given here, right? Yeah. D is the father of C. That's what is given. So that means D is the father of C, and A is the daughter of C. So in that case, how can we relate D and A? So D's granddaughter is what is A. It's very simple for us to say, right? Yeah, because see here, D's daughters, what is A? In that case, it is going to be granddaughter, which is very easy for us to say. And if you see, this information which is given is totally unwanted for us. It's not at all needed for us to solve or use in the question to get the answer. So very simple question finally. A is related to D as what? This is our question. So if you see D's daughters what is A? In that case, it's very simple for us to say D's granddaughter is what is whom is A. That's all. So option 1 is matching with our answer. Very easy. Let's move on to the next question. So next we have a set of questions we have here, and they are from percentages. So let's see what is there in this question. First of all, let's just observe the data what is given here. Profit earned by two companies. So profit percentage, they have given the profit percentage for two companies A and B here for 5 different years from 2011, 12, 13, 14 and 15, and we have the profit percentages earned by two companies A and B is what we have. So it's very easy for us to understand, and see the condition which is given below. Here we have the condition given to be profit percentage is nothing but income minus expenditure, the whole divided by expenditure into 100. So we may have to use this relation to find or income and expenditure of the companies. Okay, so we already have the profit percentage values given in the question itself, use in this tabular column. And if you see income and expenditure, if any one of them is given to us, we can easily find the other using this relation. So whenever we deal with questions having expenditure and income in this set of questions, we can use this relation to find the answer. Very simple. So now we can move on to the question. So let's name this to be question number 4. Question number 4. Question 4 says, what is the average percentage profit earned by company B? So very simple question. We very well know how to find average. So here, fourth question is expecting us to get the average profit earned by company B. So it's very easy for us to say. See here, company B, we have clearly have the percentage profits earned for all the 5 years. And all we need to find is just the average. That's all. Fine. So how can you find the average actually? Average is nothing but total by number. That's all, right? So that means we'll have to find the total of all the values. So let's take down all the profit values of company B. We have 30, 40, 35, 50 and 35. Let's take down them. 30, 40, then we have 35, then we have 50, then once again 35. So average is nothing but we have to add all the values and divide it by the total count. So totally how many are there? There are totally 5 values, is it or not? So 5 values are there. So just divide it by 5. Very simple to get the answer. So let's find the total first of all. We have 30 plus 40, which will be 70. 70 plus 50 will be 120, right? And here we have 35 and 35. That will give us one more 70. So 120 plus 70 will be 190. Finally, 190 by 5 will be our answer. So 190 by 5 will be nothing but 38. That's all. 38%. So 38% is going to be the answer, which is matching with option 3. Very simple, right? Just a basic average question. We need to find the average just with the given values. Very simple. Moving to the next question, question number 5. Yeah. So here we have the question given with, let's see the question. Yeah. In which year the profit percentage earned by company B is less than that of company A? This is once again a very easy question. There's nothing to do any calculations, no calculation work here. Just we need to observe and get the answer. Very simple, right? So the question asks, in which year profit percentage earned by company B is less than A? So all that we need to do is just check the tabular column and we need to see in which year B's profit is less than A's profit in terms of percentage. Now see, coming to the table here, we have all the 5 years values given here. So 2011 we have company A's profit to be 20%, B is 30%. So that means A's value is only lesser. So 2012 if you see, here we have A's value to be 35, B is 40, still A is lesser. And 2013 if you see, A is 45 and B is 35, and 2013 is where we have company A's profit is more and B's profit is lesser. Is it or not? Check for the other years. 40, 50. In 2014, again A is lesser, and 2015, 25, 35. Again A is lesser. So that means 2013 is the only year where B's profit percent is lesser than A. So that means option 2, which is 2013, is matching with our answer. Very simple. So no calculations are nothing needed here to solve this question. Just a basic observation itself is helping us to get the answer. Last one more question we have, question number 6. So yeah, let's see this question. Let's have enough space to solve this question, because this question is involving, by looking at the question itself, it's easy for us to say this question is involving this expenditure, then income, all these values. So that means we may have to use this above relation which is given in the question. Fine. Yeah. Anyways, let's see what is given there in the question. So it's given that if the total expenditure of the two companies was 9 lakh in the year 2012. Okay, fine. So company A and B, we have company A and company B, and it is given to be the total expenditure is given to be, total expenditure is given to be, how much it is given to be? It is given to be 9 lakhs. 9 lakhs. Fine. And it is given in the year 2012. Fine. Let's also note the year, because it is also important. We have 5 different years. It's very important for us to note the year also. So in the year 2012, company A and B, the total expenditure is given to be 9 lakhs. And one more information is given in the question. And the expenditure of A and B were in the ratio 2:1. So we have the ratio also given to be 2:1. So A's and B's expenditure are in the ratio 2:1. So that means this 9 lakhs is what is split in the ratio 2:1. Is that okay? Yeah, fine. So now let's try to predict the individual expenditures for the two companies A and B. So we know that the total is 9 lakhs and we have expenditure ratio to be given to be 2:1. So this question is involving some kind of ratio also. Is it or not? Yeah. So let's have it like this. Let's have A's expenditure to be some 2 parts and B's expenditure to be 1 part. Okay. Let's have it to be 2 parts and 1 part. So which means 3 parts is what is 3 parts is what is 9 lakhs. So if 3 parts is 9 lakhs, then 1 part would be, we can very easily tell it would be 3 lakhs. So A's expenditure is what we need. So 2 parts. So 2 part would be nothing but 2 parts would be nothing but, if I know 1 part is 3 lakhs, then 2 part would be 6 lakhs. So it's very simple. A's expenditure would be 6 lakhs. But actually that is not the question. The question is asking us to find then what was the income of the company of A in that year. So we have A's expenditure in 2012 to be 6 lakhs, but we need to find what is A's income in that same year 2012. What is A's income? This is all we are asked in the question. So to find the answer, definitely we may need to use this above relation. So it's given to be profit percent is equal to income minus expenditure by expenditure into 100. So this relation, we definitely need to use this. So let's see this, what is here. So let's first of all copy down the same relation here. Profit percentage is equal to, let's see the relation. We have income minus expenditure by expenditure. So we have income minus expenditure. Actually, we know that expenditure is what is 6 lakhs, right? So let's note down that 6 lakhs here. So 6 lakhs, actually, let's just represent this using 6 itself, because finally we can insert that L value. That's why by 6 into 100. Actually, I'm not placing that 6 lakhs, the values, exact value. It's going to be very big. That's why. Fine. Yeah. And what about this profit percentage? This is once again available in the question tabular column itself. Is it or not? Go to the tabular column. And which year it is? It is 2012. Let's go to the question. 2012, let's just see A's profit. 2012 A's profit is given to be 35%. So this is also readily available here. And let's just make use of that value also here. So this would be nothing but is equal to 35. I hope it is clear to you. All we are doing here in this step is we are just using the same formula which is given in the question. It's given profit percentage is equal to income minus expenditure by expenditure into 100. The same relation is what is making use. We are making use it here. Income minus expenditure. We know that expenditure is 6 lakhs. So we are using the same value 6 lakhs into 100 is equal to 35. Where this 35 is nothing but this profit percentage. Okay. Yeah, let's now continue. So now what we can do here is we can just do it like income minus 6. We can just cancel values whatever possible. So this would be actually 3 times and this would be 50 times. Yeah, in 2 tables. And what next we can do is this would be is equal to 35 into 3 by 50. We can do this way. Yeah, fine. This would be very fine for us. Yeah, because what actually here we are doing is we are just getting this by 3 here. It becomes into 3 and we are bringing this into 50 here. That comes as by 50, right? Because see here left hand side we have by 3 into 50. When these two terms go to the right hand side, we have into 3 by 50. That's it, right? Okay, fine. So let's just cancel once again. 5 tables, we can cancel both these numbers. 5 sevens are 35 and 5 tens are 50, right? So we have 21 by 10. So 21 by 10. Actually, 7 threes are is what is 21. So 21 by 10 we got. So 21 by 10, it's very simple to say it would be 2.1. And now we have income minus 6 is equal to 2.1. So that means income is equal to 2.1 plus 6. So 2.1 plus 6 would be nothing but 8.1. Is it or not? So 8.1. And finally, it is going to be in terms of lakhs. So our final answer is going to be 8.1 lakhs, which is matching with option 2. Yeah, fine. So the questions were little challenging here, right? The last 3 questions. Actually, this 4th question is very simple for us to say. It's just the average. And 5th question is also very easy for us. It's just an observation with which we got the answer. The 6th question is involving more logics here. See here, we are using the concepts of ratio here. And also here we did a small trick. We are not exactly taking the value 6 lakhs itself, because 6 lakhs, it will again consume the zeros. Instead of taking all the entire value, we are just playing with that number 6 itself, because anyways we can finally insert that lakhs when we got our final answer. So the same thing is what we got here. Income is equal to 8.1 and that corresponds to the lakhs. So 8.1 lakhs is going to be the answer. Fine? Yeah. So this session, we have completed 6 questions from different varieties. So this first question itself is from a different variety. We got it from equations. Second one is from directions. We are very much used to this topic, directions. And third one, blood relation, also we are very much used to it. And this last set of questions 4, 5, 6 we have from tabular column, that is involving percentage, then the concept of average, using that we had a problem, then ratio, using which we had a problem. So we are able to solve all these questions. And yeah, any doubts you can sure post it in the comments. We see that we'll help you back. And once again, in the next session, we'll just catch up with the other set of questions. See you soon there. Thank you so much. Bye.